All right, welcome, and thank you very much for attending to our last webinar of the year. In this webinar, we're going to show you how to manage your service in the field with SAP Business One and Enterprise. Thank you very much once again for attending. The agenda for the day is divided in 5 different points. First, we're going to have a brief introduction about what is Enterprise, and why is this a solution for nowadays PSOs. Then we're going to talk about PSOs challenges and how to address them, especially with the changes that the world is facing nowadays. After that, we're going to continue with a brief demo about the service module of Enterprise, and we're going to finish with a Q&A session. Remember that the chat is open. You can leave all of your questions on the chat, and I'm going to read them at the end. For this webinar, we have a very special invite. His name is Andres Castrillon. He has more than 30 years of experience in the technology industry, and he is the current president of Consensus International. Consensus International is a SAP partner with operations in Florida, Texas, New England, and Latin America. And myself, Maria Rodriguez, Sales and Marketing Executive for Americas on Enterprise. Andres, welcome, and thank you very much for joining us today. Oh, I think you're muted.
Can you hear me well?
Yes, I can hear you well.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm very honored to be part of this webinar with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for opening your agenda. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Consensus?
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to be very brief, being respectful of the agenda and the time that we have for this webinar. Yeah, Consensus is a company of 31 years already. Was started in Colombia, founded by me and a couple more people in 1990. And in 15 years ago, we started the operation in Florida. And we have opened operations, as you mentioned before, in a few sites in North America as well. So yeah, we've been quite active. We have over 900 implementations of SAP Business One, not only in the Americas, but also in other regions of the world. So, and we've been, you know, part of SAP for many, many years. I'm very happy to be an honor to be recognized by SAP and the community of users for our, you know, services in the past. So I'm very honored to lead an awesome team and also to partner with the companies like Enterpryze. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's also an honor to have you guys as a partner from us, especially in a market as important as the United States. And now that Andres has already introduced Consensus International, I'm going to talk a little bit about Enterprise for those who don't know us yet. We're an Irish multinational company. We have offices in 9 different countries, operations in 75 more, and we've been awarded by SAP in different occasions. One of the awards that we've won is the Pinnacle Award in 2018, the Innovation Award in the same year, and we've been also awarded in Ireland as one of the best managed companies in the country. So thank you very much once again for joining us, and let's start with the topic of the webinar. So we're going to talk about the PSO's challenges nowadays. And the first challenge that I'm going to talk about is the customer relationship and retention management. A PSO needs an efficient way of accessing customer information to track sales proposals, inquiries, communications, among others. And this is a challenge nowadays because without traceability of documents and processes, the company can't generate an upsell, for example, or can't give further solutions to the customer, or provide a proper follow-up after a service is done. And let's be clear, nowadays, customers are very demanding. And this is because we have the technology to provide a better service. to make them feel that they're our only customer nowadays. And the nowadays PSOs need to be updated within those processes, and that traceability of communication, not only inside the company, but also outside the company, so that each customer has the best experience. That leads us to the second point, which is the internal traceability of documents and procedures. And PSOs usually struggle with integrating the communication of the technicians on the field with the workers that are in the back office or in the office. And this is most of the times one of the biggest challenges, because most PSOs use different platforms or different programs, and that can generate confusion not only within the workers, but also within the different departments. These can also have a big impact with the customers, because if we're not having a good traceability of communication and processes and documentation inside the company, then the customer might receive partial information or wrong information or even late responses. And once again, these can cause a bad customer experience. So this is one of the also most important challenges nowadays. And the last point is, well, here in the slide it says switching from spreadsheets to technology platform. And this is basically something that every company nowadays is facing. And it's basically the how easy can we adapt to the new technology and to the changes, and how us as a company are how we are allowing our workers to adapt easier and faster. Human beings in general reject change. And we always think that what we're doing cannot be improved, and what we're doing and the way that we're doing is perfect. And having to change processes can also be a challenge for PSOs. And spreadsheets are an easy way to manage lots of information. Like let's leave that clear. However, it is very time consuming, and they reduce efficiency because of their manual processes. And that's not the only thing, that they also provide siloed and scattered information across the employees. So it is also one of the biggest challenges nowadays to implement technology where we can just switch from those manual and probably not as efficient programs that we're currently using to something that can improve not only the experience from our workers, but also the experience of our customers. Andres, in your experience, which are the biggest challenges that PSOs are facing nowadays?
So yeah, I've seen so many, throughout the years. But I would say that some of the most common ones are the communication that has to happen dynamically between the dispatcher, who is taking the service calls and has to transfer that information, scheduling the work from the field service engineers or technicians. But it's always a challenge because there are always, the need to reschedule, take care of urgent requests from customers. Let's say that you have a technician providing service to medical equipment. Sometimes they have to, take care of one service call that is super, super urgent. So they need to be able to manage this communication very dynamically. Also, in order to reduce the number of trips or visits to customer site, the technician needs to have inventory on site. They have to be able to get approval from customers, install parts and see what is billable, what is not, and sometimes even do collections. So they become kind of a store on four wheels. So that is also challenging, and you have to be able to do that, provide the service, provide parts, and then invoice customers. And all of this has to feed back into the back office system. And we've seen, so many times the field, people in the field with papers or Excel sheets, and somebody else has to take that over and transcribe that information into the back office. That creates a lot of challenges. And the beauty of Enterpryze, together with SAP Business One, is that most of these challenges can be solved pretty quick.
Indeed. Agree 100%. And as you're saying now, you're already talking about how we can address these challenges. And that leads us to what's the answer to how to address them. And it's The answer is very simple. Automation technology implementation is the key. Why? Because it improves customer retention levels, it optimizes and improves internal processes, and it contributes with the growth of the company. So what you just said, Andres, is exactly what I was about to start talking about. And it's how automation technology implementation is clearly one of the most important things to do nowadays within any company, but especially in the service industry. To automate processes allows workers to focus their efforts on creating strategies, developing new projects, and implementing new ideas. These will have a greater impact within the company and with the clients. So as you said, Anders, I 100% agree in what you just said.
Yeah, one of the benefits of implementing a system like this, we've seen it so many times, is that it's an investment that pays by itself in a few months. As quickly as 3 4 months, yeah, you do investment, but you get so many benefits that are easy to put a dollar sign into it, right? That you could see that you recover the investment pretty quick.
Exactly, exactly. You might be investing nowadays some amount of dollars, but at the end of the day, you will be getting back all that investment in the time of your workers, in the communication with the technicians on the field, and obviously optimizing the different processes that are being done both in the company and on the field, right?
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that helps big time. I mean, we've seen the how satisfied the technicians in the field are, because now they can see on the cell phone what they have to do. They could capture signature. They could immediately invoice a customer, even get either check or a credit card, and that is automatically fed into the back office. You save so much time and
Exactly.
errors. So
Yeah, exactly. Especially because we're not leaving, obviously we're human beings. We can make any errors just by typing some information. And if we can just automate all that information that they are receiving and that the client is receiving at the end and that the back office is receiving, then we will just allow our processes to be perfect and to have a better experience for the client and for the worker.
correct. Yeah.
All right, Andres. Well, you're always ahead, and now you already started talking about Enterpryze and what we can do, and that's great. I'm actually going to start showing the people that are now in our webinar how Enterpryze can do all that interaction that you've already stated. So let me just change my screen, and this is Enterpryze. Let me introduce Enterpryze to everyone. This is the website of Enterpryze. Then I'm going to go ahead and show you how the app that the technicians on the field will be using. And we're basically going to focus on the module of service. The service module it's very simple and easy to use. For the managers, we will have some dashboards that will allow them to have an overview of what's going on within the service department. Now, all of the workers that are receiving the service calls will be able to not only see a full report of all of the service calls that have been made by the clients, but also what's the status of all of these service calls. Once they receive one, they will be also able to create it and to choose the business partner. So here I'm just going to go ahead and choose one. And as you will see, immediately Enterpryze will bring all of the information that we have on SAP Business One to Enterpryze. And this is very important for everyone to notice, and is that the communication within Enterpryze and SAP is immediately. So whatever you see here, you're going to see it on SAP. So that's what we're going to be able to see. What's all of the information of each of the business partners that we're talking with. Also, we're going to be able to choose what's the priority of that service call, what's the subject. So let's say speaks computer, that's the subject. We can assign it immediately to a technician from this screen, or we can just leave it on a queue to assign it later. Yeah, so then I'll be able to see it on the report of the queues. Here I'll be able to choose what's the service queue. So I'm just going to say that this is a technical service queue, and I'm going to leave the status as open. Here I'm going to write what is the call type. So I'm just going to go ahead and say maintenance. What's the problem? So we can choose until 4 different problem types, as well as 4 different problem subtypes. Then what was the origin of the service call? And automatically the system is going to bring today's date and time, as well as how long do I think that the technician is going to take to solve this issue. So I can, as we can see here, the system is providing 15 minutes. It says from 9:16 to 9:31. However, I believe that this might take a little bit longer. So I'm just going to go ahead and change the time just for the system to notice that this is something that might take longer. So I'm changing the time, and it's already set that it will take 1 hour to be solved. The details, so I'm just going to write here, computer not working. And I can also relate any other activities. So I'm going to go ahead and assign to Ingrid another activity, which will be maybe just fix or maybe check computer parts. So now we have 2 different activities for the same service call, and we can see here that those related activities will be under the same screen. Here in the bottom, we will see some custom fields, or all of those custom fields that you might have on SAP Business One. But here we can just put them so that the technician will see them in the correct time. So either at the beginning of the service call, or while they're doing the service call, or even at the end, or even the 3 of them. So that's what we see here, lots of custom fields. Also, we can add any other file, other file that the technician will need to see on the field. And perfect. I'm just going to go ahead and save it. Here, the system is asking me if I want to send the PDF of this service call to the email of our partner or of our client. So I'm just going to say no, but we can also do that. We can send the information to the person that we're talking with, so that they know that the service is being put on our system, and that it's going to be solved soon. So once this is created, I can go to the service planning. And in the after part, I'm going to be able to see the name of all of our technicians. And while choosing their name, we will be able to see what they have on their calendar. So here we can see that today is Thursday, that this is the time, and that our technician, in this case, myself, Maria Monica, has nothing for the rest of the day. So I can schedule some other service calls for her. Here in the left-hand side, I'll be able to see all of the documents that are open, or the documents or the service calls that haven't been scheduled yet. And it's as easy as just drag and drop. So once I do this, I'm just going to go ahead and assign this service call to our technician. All right. Once I do this, might be probably perfect. That's done. And now I have already assigned this service call to Maria Monica at 10 a.m. on today's date. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you what the technician will be able to see in their phone. So let me just share my screen. So basically, this is the service app. As you can see, we have different apps that according to the role of each person, they will access to each one of those. So here the technician will be using this one, the one that's called service. And what we can see here is the overview of all the different calls that they have been assigned. So how many calls they have assigned for today and in total. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to synchronize the information so that we have the same information that we have on the screen in the phone. So perfect, that's done. And if I go here in the bottom part, I'll be able to see all of the service calls here in the calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and ask the system to show me all of the different service calls. And here in the bottom, we'll be also able to see all of the activities. So as I showed you previously, we can assign activities as well as service calls, either to the same technician or to different technicians, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and go back to the service calls, and I'm going to open one of these. Let me just open this one. And what we're going to be able to see here is the name of the client, as well as the information, where do they have to go, what's the address, who do they have to ask for, when is it programmed, if there is any activity related to this specific service call, and then all of the different tasks. So once I click on the pen in the upper part, what I'm going to be able to see are the custom fields. As I said, we can just put them so that they can appear at the beginning, during the call, or after the call. So here are the custom fields that should appear in the beginning. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on OK. I was previously doing some tests on this specific call, so that's why we have already one picture attached here. And once I start my service call, I click here. It says, do you want to use this time? I say, okay. And it will bring immediately what's the time and date that I am arriving to the customer. Here, I'll be able to see what's the person that I should talk with. Then if we're using any type of equipment card, it will appear here, or I can select it, and the status. And here, this is the test, and here are all of the remarks. So let's just write in the resolution what we've already done on the call. So that's done. And once this is done, I'm already finished. I can capture the signature and I am done. So here is the signature. Who is signing? I'm just going to write here, that is Maria. I continue, and the client will be able to sign in the phone of the technician. So once this is done, I click in the check. I click stop because I'm already done. Then I can click yes and update here in the bottom part. So now I'm going to just fill in the custom fields that I have to fill once this is done at the end of the call. The service call is updated. Okay. And now this service call is finished. So basically what we're going to be able to see in the back office is if we go back to the service calls, and let's say that we are checking on this one specifically, we're going to be able to see as an attachment both the pictures that the technician has taken within the field as well as the signature. And we're not going to be able to see this only on Enterprise, but also on SAP Business One as an attachment. So that's one of the benefits of using Enterprise for your service calls processes. So with this being said, I'm just going to go back to our presentation, and let me just share my screen here. And let's just go to the last part of our webinar, which is the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and see if we have any questions. Okay. So we have here Rafael who's saying we're new users for your enterprise platform ad. It will be great to use at least the demo part of this for near future follow-up training to our users. Perfect. Perfect, Rafael. If you can just please send me an email to this email that I am showing here in my screen so that I can check what is your company and what are the licenses that you're currently using. And then we can just do further training to your employees so that you can start trying Enterprise. So just please feel free to just send me an email here. All right. What else do we have here? All right. Well, apparently everything was very clear because we don't have any other questions. Okay, the chat is following up. Are these transactions visible in SAP Business One immediately? Are these affecting all of it? Yes, yes. As I previously said, all of the communication between Enterprise and SAP Business One is immediate. So we just connect Enterprise to your SAP so that both the users that are using SAP and Enterprise will have the same information. Also, the number of the service call will be exactly the same that you will see on SAP. So there won't be any confusion within the process. All right, perfectly. So that's it. Well, thank you very much for everyone for attending to this webinar. We had just one question at the beginning where they were somebody, oh, it was also Rafael who was asking us if we're going to send the recording of this webinar. We will send it right after we finish this. I'm just going to go ahead and send not only this recording, but the recording to all of the different webinars that we held from the last 2 months until today, so that you can just go and watch them as many times as you need. Also, I'm inviting you to please follow up on our social media. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and even in YouTube. So just please feel free to follow us there. And Andrew as well, it was a pleasure to have you once again. Thank you very much. And I hope I can see you soon.
Yes, thank you very much, Maria Monica. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you very much for everyone. Have a great day. And I'll see you on our next webinars next year. So happy New Year. Merry Christmas from now. And just feel free to contact us whenever you need. Thank you. Goodbye.